Love is life. Love is life. Mhm. That's right. Why do in our own language. You say how we say love in our own language.
Yeah, ain't that beautiful?
Why do?
Ain't that beautiful?
Yes. So peace and love to all,
Mm-hmm.
from all. Yes, indeed. Happy to have and happy to be alive. Get ready to share our screen. I wonder. Let's see. Okay. We returning to the old way of our ancient forefathers and foremothers. State of mind. Their divine and holy principles and laws. In this time, black folks need their own spiritual system.
Mm-hmm.
You can call it religion, you can call it spirituality, call it your own. This is what black people need the most. And this is what we have. Not only our own, but what was our own that was originally created for all. Before America, and we're going to be going to Super 31, because we got to understand what we need to understand in order to understand what was America of the old world. We understand the new updated version of the old world called America with the United States. And so United States have built a whole society raising up their own religion.
That's right.
And excluding all others.
That's correct. Ain't that a shame?
That is. And the reason why we allow immigrants over here as the original natives is due to our original way. Our way accepts all religions and accepts all faith.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what we want to tackle into with the first America. The first America was riding off what we call divine law.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hear about we didn't have things written down, the law wasn't written down. We in the law. The sun, the moon, the stars, and all below follow the law. But in the new society of the United States of America, dealing with colonization and tax invasion, they have copied our way and made it their own.
Yep.
Through their copies and clones. So before the immigrants came, we had our law that we was under. before he brought his religious law
Yep.
that was opposite of our spiritual system. Our spiritual system, we followed a particular law, a specific law.
Yep.
And this is what we're going to open up with. Because we need our spiritual language back. And within our spiritual system, nothing is excluded. So our language return, our customs return, our way return, the practices return, everything that was excluded that made you 3/5 of a man, making you black, your nationality in your spiritual system, your race in your spiritual system, and your status is in your spiritual system. So, and your spiritual system is the names and principles you go by when you understand that you are a nation. And as a Moorish nation, we must understand, where does Moorish come from? And so this is all in honoring divine and natural law. And great elder, would you break us to Super 31 and get this on the record? Yeah, because this is very key. Matter of fact, let me pull up a little bit excerpt of the Declaration of Independence so we can see where it all began. So you can see what they copied and what they were running from over there back in those times. Okay, right here, this is what, let's bring that on the screen. Noble Drew Ali, the holy prophet of America, who brought the understanding of the Declaration of Independence and all understanding of civics and our place in governmental bodies, and how to align ourselves constitutionally with any fold of government. And this is what was pointed out of his work, Moorish literature. And I'm going to read an excerpt on my page. It's on page 6 at the bottom right. And at the time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was in force since 1774. Now, this is what we consider the Declaration of Independence. The free national constitutional law that was in force since 1774 declared all equal and free.
All?
Mm-hmm.
Not whites only?
Yeah. So all, and the word white. Declared all equal and free. And if all are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th amendments. That's where you get the Negro, black, and colors under Christianity. Amendments for salvation of our people and our own citizens, our own nation. So that national free national constitutional law is referring to the Declaration of Independence. And I just want to point out in the first preamble, we're going to read the first. Here we go, the first paragraph of the preamble. The unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another. Now, in the course of human affairs, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature. And this is what we want to cover: the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. Now, that's to all who understands what Noble Drew Ali was speaking on, the free national constitutional law that declared all equal and free. So the words we want to point out is they use the words laws of nature, and they use the word nature's apostrophe S, God, entitled them. So every free national constitution has their deity within their divine constitution. And within your constitution, you have the name of your deity. And the people who are under that use the names of such. So we want to understand the nature's law that they were speaking on. We finna go into our divine constitution, and we finna begin to see what nature's law they was talking about and what is God's nature. Yes, what is nature's God? This is very important. So let's key in and let's begin.
Super 31. The law, in parentheses, Al-Sufian. One, O you who believe, let it be said, Al-Sufian. Two, the rule, the truth, the law. Now, if you don't see Al-Sufian on anything, you know something crooked going on.
It's not your spiritual system. That's
because it said the rule, the truth, the law. That's important.
And it's very important, as in your spiritual system. It's not important to them.
No.
So if you don't see these words, that means your spiritual system is not present. And you now are connecting with another's.
That's right.
Because you may say law word.
Yeah.
So when you say law, then you are using an English word, and now that English word has its own connotations behind it.
That's right.
But when you say your word, then your word means what it means, according to what is defined by. And what we know is that the great prophet Esau, or Jesus, said the truth will make you free. So this is the truth that will make all of humanity free and return all back to the equality of all.
Three. And the 29th name of Allah, the infinite, the unique, the all-knowing, the all-knowing. 4, the source, the well of all form, meaning, and rule. So we know that form's been changed and the rules been changed. We do know that for a fact. And if we're going to look at the United States and their so-called law, the law should be the same throughout all 50 states. But you can go in Mississippi, find a different law, and go in Florida and find a different law, and go in Louisiana, find a different law, and not to mention Georgia. You find different laws. So we know that something crooked is going on. That's a fact. 5, the beginning point from which all lesser law manifests. Now, all lesser law manifests from Hakim. But you won't hear this. With these politicians, it's a hush-hush thing because they're establishing their own laws, their own rules, their own meaning. 6, Allah is the one true and only divine creator.
So for us, this is the deity according to our spiritual system that will make you free according to the truth of what you have and what you are. This is what makes you a free national governmental body.
Yep.
Giving you now the equality and the divine rights. And since we have not been told of divine law, this is a reason of separation.
Yep.
Because if you're dealing with truth, then there should be no error. And if truth says all are equal, and this is the source, and for one to give you law and not give you divine law, then we are talking about oppression, and we are talking about isolation to now cause harm. So when we as blacks of America chooses names and principles that delude to slavery, then they are entitled to abuse you because your spiritual system is what protects you. So China is protected by their spiritual system.
That's correct.
Russia protected by their spiritual system.
That's right.
British, India, all these countries, continents are protected by their spiritual system. And so America has its own spiritual system separate from the United States. But also the United States have their spiritual system. And everybody's spiritual system connects to honoring their own mother and father from now all the way to predating of you. And it goes all the way back to your divine creator. So we know in the Declaration of Independence, nature's God now was highlighted to us. The nature of our the nature of our deity is finna come up. Six and seven.
All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Number 7. The first law, not the second, but the first law is divine law. And so the law of Allah.
There we go. So now we know not only the name of our God, now we know the nature
of that law.
Of our God. The first law is nothing we've been exposed to by the United States. But they've been using law and not using law equally. And the first law is divine law because the nature of our Creator is divine. So divine, and asking a question. So do divine and sin sleep together? See, this word divine is bringing a powerful understanding to who you are, to remembering who you are, and how you're supposed to be respected, and how what you're supposed to expect. This is a big nature of our Creator as we continue.
8. Allah is the divine creator of all things. Number 9. The collection of all words, ideas, and forms. There is nothing greater. And that go for the USA and Russia and China and everybody you could think of that you don't put on a pinnacle that they so super bad.
Great point. They considered lesser than the divine Creator.
And it says a collection of all words. See, the Constitution is words and ideas in a form that someone come up with that didn't have everybody's best interest.
I'm glad you pointed that out. That make us, we gotta, and then when it says from Christian texts, in the beginning was the Word. So now this brings in that valid point. That word that was the beginning, this word is the collection of that word. So when we use the divine Creator's name according to the Al-Sufian or the Sufian, we have the collection. So it don't matter what words are being used. It don't matter what language is spoken in.
That's right.
Once we understand the name of our divine Creator, then the ideals. So no matter what United States come up with, their ideals still belongs to the divine Creator.
That's Correct.
And if their ideas is not in harmony with the divine law, then we know it's not greater. And then forms. Everywhere you go,
Yeah.
you got to sign something.
Yeah, that's a form.
They want you to fill out a form.
That's right.
So now when we talking about this is the understanding of you don't need paperwork. Ain't no such thing as nationalization. There's only a such thing as oralization, declaration. See, as they have the Declaration of Independence, the Holy Prophet of America told you to proclaim and declare. See, and this is the same understanding. This is why we have to move from all that hogwash, calling ourselves something that our divine constitution don't call ourselves, black, Negro, colored, and under Christianity. That is not understood in the Sufian, which is our original way before any immigrant came over here or built a boat. To come over here. So when we are speaking about forms, ideals, words, these are the main components that are running the world right now. And if none of these forms, words, and ideas are linking us, all of us, not a few of us, not one of us, but all of us, back to our source. This is what we're looking for, the source. So we can be made all again or whole again.
And it said the first law, 7 said the first law is divine law. I think I'm reading what they're saying coming out of Britain, Magna Carta. And Robert Rule of Law. Well, that ain't got nothing to do with no divine law. That sounds like somebody else's concept and ideas. As a matter of fact, it is.
That's exactly what it is.
So we should run them to them and leave that mess alone, and we come on to divine.
It's so beautiful. That's so
and
beautiful.
If they gonna call themselves be the law, why the law don't apply to all? It says whites only, white supremacy. This ain't law. This somebody ideal and concept when we talking about whites only. And then the guy who claiming to be white ain't white. So we got a sticky situation there. Number 10. There's all law must come from the divine and Allah.
All.
All law must come, and if it ain't from Allah and divine, it should be null and void. How about that?
Right.
You heard that before in the courthouse.
In your spiritual system, if it ain't divine, it ain't mine.
It ain't. It's null and void.
So when we talking about when someone approaches you with a different system that you know about because it speaks a different language, now we understand they coming with their law. So now when you saying black, Negro, color, or under Christianity, you coming under their laws. And Christianity has became so far away from the divine. And so when we're talking about Christianity, what it has become a religion that defiles the name of Jesus and the other prophets. And to defile Jesus and other prophets is considered a violation of divine law. Because if you rewrite another book to have your own,
Yeah.
and swap words,
Yeah.
swap ideas,
Yeah.
and swap forms.
That's what they did.
To pull us in.
Yeah.
So we can abide and obey.
Yeah.
Under their spiritual system.
Mm-hmm.
And they want us to call it America along with the 50 states.
Mm-hmm.
When this has nothing to do with the divine creator, as we're going to see more and more.
And I would like to say to that is that even they claiming to be the law, and then in their book it says that God is love, and then yet they have so much hatred towards anybody who don't look like them or act like them. And it says God is love, and then you hate others, and you claiming that you have the right book. It don't add up. Just don't add up. I just want to point that out because truth makes sense. Anything that's not truthful, it ain't gonna make sense.
It ain't divine. So
that's right. And listen at this, 11 says, as all the words of law are born from the Creator. It said born, not wrote, not right, not born.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Divine law is already present. You ain't got to come up with no constitution, no nothing.
There we go. You don't have to come up.
Unless you want to waste my time and then do something crooked and put all the melanated people in jail, and the majority of us, that's what we sitting at today. How about that? That's not a coincidence. I want to point that out. It's them boys on Capitol Hill is doing all this. Did you see the divine creator build a jailhouse for you? Or a courthouse for you? Think on that as I read on.
And then, before you read on,
okay,
as everything we see is built up of words.
Yeah.
In the United States of America.
Jailhouse, them two words.
Mm-hmm. Especially those are words. And those words have to be formidable, or let's just say these words have to comply with divinity. Mm-hmm. If it don't comply with divinity, you ain't gonna be in serenity. Because some words ain't from the divine.
Thank you.
But they imposing on your mind. Mm-hmm. This is where words, ideas, and form. Because we're talking about what you are. You have a form. And if your form is under another form that is not divine, this is called you connected to them.
That's right.
And how are you connected to them? By using a language that connects with them. Indigenous people, native people have their own language. So their own language is provided to them from their spiritual system. The spiritual system is what handles everything amongst that nation, and how everything is to handle amongst that nation. When you have a divine constitution and a divine law, you don't need a third party.
Thank you.
You don't need a middleman.
That's right.
So now these words and law, this is why truth will make you free, because all words come from the divine.
And we do know this, that their words, what they call legislature, Congress, senators, Republican, Democratic, all is sorcery. Nothing else. And this is why, if law was for you, you wouldn't have to march in the street by the hundred just to get and sing your song, no justice, no peace. You shouldn't have to march for that. Think on that. You shouldn't have to go to no governor or no president to get justice. You shouldn't have to go to no Department of Justice where you can't even find it. And they got a Department of Justice and you can't even get justice. Now what? It don't get no crooked in there. Let me move on. Okay. It don't get no crooked.
You said so very clear.
Go ahead.
Word legislation.
Yeah.
This is how they create their own forms of law.
That's right.
And the process of creating legislation is done by the process called legalism.
Yeah.
So this is what they have done with the name of religion. They have weaponized religion and turned it into a political force.
That's right.
That makes you do things and tell you not to sign under duress.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that has been forced upon you, not in the name of the divine, has been forced upon you under duress.
Yeah.
Through legalism.
Mm-hmm.
This is how they make evil legal.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Legalism is how they make evil legal.
Uh-huh. Come on with it.
So the sorcery is now legal.
Mm-hmm.
And now legal is pertaining to their law.
Their other law.
And not the divine law.
Mm-hmm.
You want to hold it up.
Yes, sir. And I hope they're getting it crystal clear. We'll be bringing it.
Mm-hmm.
Number 12. A law is a rule. Have you ever heard in America above the law? Above the law, when they say a law is a rule, they ain't said nothing about no above or below. 12 said a law is a rule given from divine instruction. Divine instruction. Discovery or reason of nature.
Did we say a reason?
Reason. Reason like the season.
Ooh.
Mm.
Ooh, reason. Ain't in the flesh. It ain't in bones to reason. Or in flesh to think.
Mm-hmm.
So divine must be talking about you.
Yeah.
Yourself. If you find a reason that violates divine law, which is the rule of all humanity and governs the whole universe and all life within it.
And can I point out one quick thing right here?
Please, we want to get it all.
If a law is a rule, then that should cover Georgia and Mississippi. So now how in the hell can we have different laws in different states?
Boom, you just said it. That's
how
what the state.
In the hell we can have different laws in different states? When the law is a rule and that applies to Georgia, Florida, Mississippi, and Alabama. But we got a catch-22.
See, that's what imposters are.
Yeah.
They impose an imposter's law.
That's right. That's right. And I go right back to that word legislature. So then Georgia can do their thing and play games with people's lives. And then we can come on down to Mississippi and they can play games with people's lives. How they do it? Because they don't put themselves as governor. A governor over the state of Georgia. We got one governor, one man governing the whole state of Georgia. How can that be?
Through their system.
How can that be? Is that and that's dangerous.
Through their system. It ain't dangerous for them.
No.
It's dangerous for those who under their system.
That's correct.
So they move states, which means the states were rules. The states are rules, making them laws for their system.
Yeah.
But originally, these states was 13.
Yeah.
And now, somehow, the states have turned to 50. So somebody done expanded with their lies through legalism.
Thank you.
They made 13 into 50 through the process of legalism.
Yeah.
So each state is representing each law.
Yep.
So there's 50 different laws on the land of one United States.
Ain't that a kick in the head?
Because they follow not the divine order.
Mm-hmm.
They follow the order of men.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get their rulership from divine authority.
That's correct.
Because we would have to give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to lay down your
that?
spiritual system to pick up theirs.
How about that?
Mm-hmm. See, this is all the discovery. See,
Mm-hmm.
they said what?
Yeah.
Christopher Columbus, the great lie,
Yeah.
discovered. See, so it's just like how we now can come and discover.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So now we discovered the lie.
Yeah, that's my point right there.
We discovered that the 13 original United States was not discovered upon divine law.
Thank you.
So we have a reason of separation
Mm-hmm.
to return back to our spiritual nature and our spiritual system that upholds our character,
Mm-hmm.
our name, our nationality,
Mm-hmm.
our status, and our race among all humanity and human affairs.
Mm-hmm.
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 Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming.
13. The existence of such a law of self-evidence by existence of the wisdom that frames them. The wisdom that framed them. The knowledge that America come up with, they call a constitution, is by their framers. Our ancestors, we know for a fact, and George Washington ain't our ancestors, they're the framers. And we know right from the get-go that it should be number hanky-panky and red flags everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Not just no red, white, and blue and stars and bars, but there's just a little bit of red on it.
Mm-hmm.
The whole flag should be red,
Mm-hmm.
which meaning something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because it says a law is a rule, and you don't come and change the rule that's already exists over the land. You don't
Mm-hmm.
come and establish your own.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who in the hell Robert think he is, but nevertheless. And by the way, I just always want to know who in the hell Robert was, but he got Robert and put his last name. But anyway,
Mm-hmm. And then on that one you read on 13, the existence of all that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is very important to keep the mind in on. The existence of what we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
are self-evident.
Yep.
Not paper written down.
Thank you.
Not a book written down.
Thank you.
This is a self-evident,
Mm-hmm.
meaning the divine creator created self.
Yeah.
And self was made by wisdom.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't have a form, or I should say a frame.
Mm.
And if you have a frame or a form, that means wisdom formed and framed you.
Mm-hmm.
And this wisdom is called self. And this self has to discover the law, the rule for anything to change upon the ethers of the plane of soul and spirit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
It depends on the self.
Yep.
We got to study self.
Got to study self.
That's what the Holy Prophet said to us back in the early 1800s.
And I'm
late
quite
1800s.
Yeah, and I'm quite sure self saw that what the sheriff was doing in these little small towns and all this crooked stuff was going on. We know that wasn't the law, but yet still they had the badge and the gun on their side and had a posse they could sick on you.
Mm-hmm.
So you in a no-win situation, and they supposed to be the law, and then they'll turn the law will turn you over to the Ku Klux Klan. Now ain't that a kick in the head? We experience all this right now. Listen what number 14 says. Divine law is the law that defines the spirit.
Here we come, fam. Here we come,
Listen
family and community.
now. Just like a definition, you want the definition of a word, and the definition, it said that the divine law is the law that defines the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I want to touch on that a little bit right there, because when you see spirits and spiritual men and women, and you see some evil going on, well, we ought to know right quick and right then and there, boy, this ain't the Bible. This ain't the Bible. Let me finish this set of that. And instruction of a law through while we on earth. These laws is to govern us, define our spirit, our purpose, and instruction through our whole existence while we on planet Earth. Nothing else but that. Not what Congress, not what the senators or executive order says. We have nothing to do with that. That's on them. You wrote it up where you live by it. Don't try to put it on us. Because we come with divine law.
Now, when we just take this phrase right here, deep understanding of this. This is the curation. This is the cure. Because if you have read the Bible, if you have read the New Testament, if you have read the book of John, let's say, in the book of John, God is spirit. In the book of John, God is spirit. And it always said to know a spirit, test the spirit. Now we have the appropriation, the right appropriation to what is the spirit in the godliness, in the most godliest form of what we're speaking on. When the Bible re-inspires, God is spirit. The word spirit means divine law. So God is the divine law. Because as we'll bring in future, God is originally our original word of America. But the people who came over here, which are the Germans, who are the Romans, these are the ones that came and stole our spiritual system. Now that we're saying spiritual, everything spiritual now has to be divine.
Right.
So we know for a fact now that their system is not a spiritual system.
It sure isn't.
It has no support to divine law.
Sure doesn't.
So we have been under a fraudulent system for over 400 years.
Yeah.
Calling ourselves by names and rules that apply to their system, such as black, Negro, color, Christianity. These things Jesus was not. So when we understand Jesus was speaking divine law, and this was what we was recognizing as divine minds ourselves, that this is powerful. That power was the purpose. And that purpose was his voice instructing the divine law of Illallah. So we can have divine law equally, not waiting on someone 2,000 years later, and 2,000 years in the future to come and save. Where the truth makes you free, meaning divine law makes you free, or understanding the spirit, because wisdom is what created divine law. So when we talking about the spirit of God, that spirit of God was the spirit of divine law. And in divine law, we see there's words, ideas, form. And all this is called self, that was framed from this divine law and able to bear witness from self-existence. And through your existence, this is how divine law is disciplined into our minds for knowledge, understanding, and the wisdom of the divine. So now the wisdom is linking us to the divine. So now when we say our spiritual system is original and our spiritual system is the first, our spiritual system is what all natives live under until the advent of colonialism and tax invaders. This is where their laws are stemming from. They able to tax you without representation of divine law. You have nothing to protect you and shield you from Christianity imposing their customs and rules over you. So black is how this is done. Negro, color, African. All these are Roman Christianized forms of Christianity to help you leave divine law and your own spiritual system. As the great elder mentioned, George Washington ain't your daddy. So how could George Washington be a part of your spiritual system?
Thank you.
Ain't no one of our mamas or daddies on a dollar bill through 100.
Look at it. Say no more. Say no more.
Park it.
I mean, if that ain't self-explanatory, pull your money out if you have it. Just start looking. 15. So before we go there, so now we know just how powerful the spirit is that dwells in us, and this divinity this dwelling.
But I got to see. Bring it home to us, great elder.
to reflect on some people who running the show. Do you see their spirit? Have you observed everybody's spirit? I don't care if they Caucasian, Mexicans, Indian people, all that's around us, and all that's on our land. Have you observed their spirit? They ain't like you. They ain't got much to say to you. And as a matter of fact, they won't holler look at you. And God knows they don't speak to me. Sometimes I'll say, how you doing? Just to see can I get a reply. And they'll nod back to me. Okay. Yeah. I'm speaking all the time. But I'm just saying, pay attention, y'all. Observe everybody, y'all. Remember, we're in the melting pot now. Don't get cooked and melted. Please. It's just like some meat, you got to cook it longer to get it tenderized. Don't get melted in the pot. That's all I'm saying. Be like lava itself. You ain't got to worry about melting. It's going to melt. Especially the temperature right.
And now we can all say, if we have made it to a stage of spiritual adults, we can say we went to their school. And in their school, they had a golden rule.
Sure did.
And it wasn't divine law. We should have heard about divine law as the golden rule.
Well, we heard the golden rule, but the divine law was omitted
from their school.
Yep.
So that means now our spirituality was omitted.
Yep.
Now we no longer got a spirit, soul, a body, a divine way, and a divine nationality, a divine identity. School made us into fools.
Sure did. That's exactly what it did. And I can back it up.
And we know kids needed to get inside of anything.
That's right.
And we know they locked the door.
Yeah. I want to jump in here right quick on this golden rule and make a fool out of it. Going to their school and make a fool out of it. Because they told us from the get-go. So if he'd lie about Columbus, Christopher Columbus, if he tell you one, think about this right here. Do you think that he would tell you another one? If he can tell you the first one. Just think on that. 16 says that all are equal under the law of Allah and subject to it. So if you hear dog, a law officer, and he said whites only, and you over here segregated and they over there, is that equal? Whites only? Let's just roll back a little bit. You saw the sign, whites only. Is that equal when you read that? And then you look around in this country, you can't see nobody that's pure white. I mean, just like a sheet of paper. You can't see nobody like that. So how could you come up with whites only? Well, I know why. And I know how you did it. 17. Natural law is the law that defines the operation of the will of Allah through existence in the form of the world. Now, if you look at anything or anyone that's been manifest, it has to have rules and regulation in order to operate the will of Allah through existence in the form of this world. You got to have it. You can't get around it.
That's what they wanted us to never believe. They wanted us to believe that we was born in a prison.
Yeah.
That this is a prison planet.
Yeah.
That's made for jails, made to throw people in torture cells.
Yeah.
All these are forms of torture.
Yeah.
In our spiritual system, the gravest transgression, the worst of worst, is torture.
Yeah.
In 17, you just read natural law. This is what we want to reiterate when we bring back the Declaration of Independence.
Okay.
We opened up reading about the laws of nature.
Yeah.
So we have our spiritual system, which predates 1776. In their 1776 writings, they use the writing laws of nature.
Yeah.
What are the laws of nature for the native?
Yeah.
That's called natural law. The native is native by natural law.
Right on.
Anything that's natural is from nature. And so instead of using our spiritual words, they use their own terms and phrases. So instead of saying natural law, they said the laws of nature in the Declaration of Independence. So we just got the answer. What are the laws of nature? Natural law. The next proposition was, what is nature's God? And that's what we covered as divine law.
Right on. Thank you.
They wrote nature has a God. What we living in called nature, nature has a God. So we talking about nature's God is divine law. So when we say now divine law is the first law and the law of illallah. Allah, illallah. So this is the source, and Allah, illallah, is the one true and only divine creator. So with the one only and true divine creator created one divine law. That divine law is the golden rule. That golden rule is all are equal. Not under the Declaration of Independence, which is written by men, but all are equal under the law of Allah, illallah. The sun is equal. The moon is equal. The stars are equal. Everything in nature that we see that is natural is equal. Now, when we say divinity, this is where equality stems from. For anyone to have equality, they have to be divine. And for the law of divinity to be equality, then the divine creator's nature is divine. So the creator cannot surpass his own nature. The creator can't destroy his own nature. So now when we're talking about the laws of nature, this is what's going to help the native people. Because remember, you got the indigenous laws. So as the indigenous laws, you got to be putting the natural laws back for your nation or your native or your nationality. This represents your divinity. And this is what we got to understand, being in their system, coming under black, Negro, colors, and Africans under Christianity.
And I noticed, old Tricky Dick, instead of putting natural, he'll put closer thing to it, he'll put nature. "18. Therefore, a competent man recognizes divine law, not simply because he has been told. 19, but that he can see and reason to some of the logic and mind of the divine creator. When you saw white solely, you should have recognized something. You should have been able to reason and see this ain't right.
It's a certain type of man that recognizes divine law. You read.
See, this is why some of us wouldn't go along with it. We begin to rise that divine divinity that's in us wouldn't allow us to go along with it. We'd rather have our head cut off or hung from the highest tree than the stoop when you could stand. So, you go ahead.
It's a certain type of man. This is what we have to recognize. It's about understanding what you haven't been told. We haven't been told none of this stuff. So the understanding has to be understood, because when you go in existence, the people who holding and forcing you against your will ain't going to speak this to you. They going to tell you to get down, throw your hands up, put your hands behind your back. A certain type of man, a competent man. So the person disobeying divine law, are they competent? A person in office that violating divine law, are they competent?
They're not. No, not.
See, so the incompetent can only work on the incompetent. So the incompetent man needs another incompetent man to not know.
That's right. That's simple.
Because we know the competent man, that's us as the spiritual, being spiritually wise. It said that we can see it. So we ain't got to use the mind just yet.
Right. We can see it.
You can see it.
Yeah. I just want to point out something. It's just like when they murdered KJ at the school, and then they claimed that he rolled himself up in a mat and was
suffocated.
Suffocated. We know. And when the deputy sheriff of crime said these words, the case is closed. We know that was right. But what the law said, the case is closed. And it's still closed today. Ain't that a shame? And you talking about law in Valdosta, Georgia? You can't get no justice. It's plain and simple as that. If they got him out the way, you next.
Islam ain't nobody next. Now, if you want to disobey your divine creator, then don't come to Islam. Because the competent man is in Islam. What I'm reading from. See, we have to understand about emotions and spirits. See, the incompetent man is a threat to himself because he has the lack of self-discipline. See, in Islam, it's self-discipline. So if one don't have self-discipline to not do anything that is not violating divine law, then one respects Islam. For one to disrespect life, kill another, murder another, and say that you're not guilty when anything that is alive didn't kill itself. Divine law says a competent man recognizes. We don't need the incompetent man who may use words that deceives the listener. But in the form of Christianity, that parents, mothers, fathers have born children in. Your parents and your community make you a Christian. And in Christianity, bloodshed is allowed. And especially for unnatural reasons. So if we don't understand that for 400 years, you have been shell-shocked out of divine law. You have been shell-shocked from natural law. You have no idea what is the natural religion of the planet Earth. You thought it was Christianity, when Christianity has become your worst enemy. But Islam don't use the same words as Christianity. Islam is a spiritual system that honors divine law, all faiths, and honors the word of the divine creator. So when we are speaking about natural law is what is called natural religion. And for the enemy to take you out of your nature, he needs you into a unnatural religion, anti-nature. So when we go back to our ancestors of ancient Egypt, they called nature Mother Netta. So the word NTR is the word nature in ancient Egyptian language. Ancient Egyptian culture was practicing Islam, the natural religion. Ancient Egypt wasn't the bringers of Islam. The Moors brought nature, natural religion called Islam to Egypt, to Mesopotamia. This was the original way of America. And since others have came on your soil, they have band up, clanned up, grouped up in a political band to destroy your religion, and it's self-evident by you being destroyed. If we don't wake up to this, is not no blame game. This is about becoming competent, becoming knowledgeable, having understanding, and understanding the wisdom of the divine. Islam is for your salvation. It's for you to be saved. This is the promulgation of divine law, November 22nd, 2024, on Friday at North America, for all of humanity to be free by the name of Islam, Sufian. This is what all indigenous, original first people who are natives falls under. And if you decide to make your own, you make it under this umbrella. All our tribes fit under Islam, when we understand, our mothers, our fathers, our great-grand, they don't know who they are. All they know was what Christianity told them. And Christianity told them they was Christians. And Islam was before Christian. So if you say what came before, the chicken or the egg, what came first, Egypt or the pale man? So if Egypt was the cradle to our egg of understanding unity, black unity, this is why we created a unified understanding called the unity of Allah. This was to unite all faiths, to unite all people, because all people was made by one creator, except those who don't like the divine, those who piss on the divine, and have you bring your face and your feet and walk in it. And now they want you to swallow their religion, which would be equivalent to swallowing their piss.
That's right.
Your ancestors ain't never swallowed no pale man piss. So he would never follow his religion. We always had our own before the pale man was in a cave, and we always had our own after he came out of cave. Before he was able to walk, someone taught him to walk. These were our ancestors, not his own. So when we understand history, Christianity has a history of violence. And through violence, they have destroyed natural religion. And that natural religion, as you see on the screen, is Islam. And this is the religion of Jesus, who is called Isa or Isa, where we get the word Islam. Peace with everything, peace with all, and peace with man. Why is another man not in peace with another man? Aren't we supposed to be spiritual adults? If we are spiritual adults, then we have a spiritual system to work out everything. And if you are a man by spirit and not a man by flesh, of cardinal customs and cardinal ideals, then we should be able to come to a mutuality, come to an understanding. We should be able to coexist. So as the Holy Prophet of America told the Europeans that if they didn't change their way and help him in his mission to making our people aware of their divinity, that more trouble was coming to the world of what they call the United States of America. The worst is yet to come. Because when we're talking about love, truth, peace, purity, and justice, this is the only way that all humanity will be able to live, coexist, and thrive abundantly. We have taken off the shackles of false religion. We have taken off the shackles of the false prophets. We have taken off the shackles of anything GMO. His religion is GMO. And any beings that believe in his are GMO. They are modified genetic organisms. And spirits ain't genetically modified. Genetically in the flesh, spirits are. And this is why we exist, to understand our Salam. And that's our Salam.
number 20. Yet a law made by men can never be greater than a natural law or divine law. I wonder why your president ain't mentioned this to you. I wonder why your congressmen and your senators and all the Vatican and the Rome, I wonder why they didn't say that there to you. You heard everything else.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? See, people want you to hear certain things.
Certain things.
And they want you to know certain things, and certain things they don't want you to know. Can I read that again?
Mm-hmm.
Yet a law made by men, and we talking about the old legislature boys on Capitol Hill, and the Department of Justice and the FBI and the CIA. This is their scripture according to them, to us, to them. It says, yet a law made by men can never be greater than the natural law or divine law. And that's what we subject to, those two. Not the law made by men. And not the law made by George Washington and Jefferson and all them boys and who else. God knows who else.
Yes.
We ain't got nothing to do with that. And that needs to be said and heard throughout the world. That right there.
Mm-hmm.
And all the laws being cooked up in the kitchen by man with their ideas and all. That's why we got so many laws that you can do this in one state and another state that's illegal. This is what's going on today, y'all. Mm-hmm. Now, how we going to be? How can we reach our destination with all this crookedness going on? You can kill in one country, the state, in the other state, you can't. I mean,
it's through Sufian Islam is how.
Yeah.
I'm here to bring the solution and the remedy,
right on.
And the cure.
Right on.
I know we all have different experiences of dealing with this enemy. And the enemy has traumatized us all. Mm-hmm. If you are a baby, mm-hmm. in America, you have been traumatized in some form. Mm-hmm. So we all have to recognize that we have to stop separating ourselves, and become unified, into one understanding of our spiritual ancestors, our spiritual fathers and spiritual mothers who were spirits in the flesh, who lived the spirit life, who the Bible speak of about who walked in the spirit. This is who left the writings on the wall, as we would say. And that writing on the wall was called Medu Neta, and that's called Mother Nature. And in our Egyptian, which is our family language, which is Asiatic, that word was Heka. Heka was the word for natural law for the ancient Egyptians. So this is why you got the word Hakam, Akum.
Look at that.
This is the divine. So we have the natural and the divine in one word.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And this is where they get the word Elohim from. This is what they won't tell you. The word Elo is the word Illah. So all of those words come from the name of Illallah. And this is what they did not want us to know. You see the word Heka, and this is what the word wisdom. So we have to understand that nature has already written and carrying out the laws of the divine, as we were just reading. This is the operation of the will. And even though men have an office, wear a suit and tie, maybe even have a military force, their laws is not greater than natural law or divine law. No matter how big a force somebody's threatening you with.
Yeah.
When we're talking about threats, threats are a violation of divine law.
And another thing they would do, they'll use their military to enforce their way on others. And this is what they've been doing. As long as I can remember, with their old, what they call foreign policies. Oh, that's the biggest crook it is. A policy that you come up with a concept and now it become law, you're going to enforce this on others. Okay. Okay.
The black experience.
Okay. Okay. Let's read what 21 says. Nor can law made by men ever be greater than a dictate or decree that gains legitimacy to the extent it does not contradict divine law and natural law and possesses the consent of the people. In everything that the USA now come up with, it contradicts divine law and natural law. And that's just what it does. (22) An unjust decree considered law. Did you hear that? Even if such threats and force is used. And you see, when we take a glimpse and look across the USA with our people, all they've been having. I mean, the same man that with the law shooting them in the back, they try to run away to try to get away from that devil, and he got his gun and he cut him down before he can get out of his sight. Now all this been going on, and then the same system in place grant them immunity, just in case if we have to go to court. Now, what kind of, I don't want to get too emotional here, but what kind of system is that to do something like that to you? And you bow down to it, and you claim it's justice for all. You wicked.
This is
That's all I could say. You're an enemy to divinity. You're an enemy to nature. I have seen this. You poison the rivers. You poison the sea. You poison the air. You poison the mind of the people. You never poison after poison. And this is what I do know. And all those who have eyes to see can bear witness. And you force all this thing on. He said, I ain't told it. You say you're a liar, you are told it. He said, I'm cooked again. He said, no, I'm going to cut your foot off, boy. You don't proclaim you told me.
Incompetent men.
This is what's been going on with us, y'all.
Yes, incompetent men.
And you persist. This is on the people. What makes it so sickening?
Now we see why it's trauma. Like from child to adult is traumatized.
Trauma, that's right.
If you don't know divine law, you traumatized. When I'm listening, I'm hearing a lot of trauma
Yeah.
coming from not understanding divine law exists to protect you
Yeah.
while in death.
Yeah.
And instead of consenting to something that we know in heart that is against and only done by force, anything by force is not valid under law, especially when you say under duress or threat or force. That means duress. That means it's not consensual and it's unintentional. That you have no intentions of doing this.
Yeah.
But they threatening your life.
So you got to.
And so in doing that, to keep sake in divine law, you have to do it in duress. This in their system.
Yeah.
But if you know about divine law, then you stand in and you speak in divine law. And then you have natural law supporting that.
Yeah, right.
Meaning that you ain't my mama, you ain't my daddy. And that's natural law. He ain't. Don't matter who the governor over your state, he ain't your mother or daddy.
Right.
And he definitely ain't the divine creator.
That's right.
So when we're talking about if he didn't make you, he can't shake you.
That's right.
And if you under your free national government, he cannot take you. Because by law, you got the law, you got the rights. And see, all our rights provided to us by the Sufian Sufian Islam is divine by nature. So they didn't want us with Sufian. They wanted us with Quran. They wanted us with Christianity. So they wanted Muslims and Christians to be warring against each other because they got two separate books. When we got one book, because one unity is for one Islam. When we say Islam, this is oneness. Islam means self-knowledge. So in order for the laws to become self-evident, you must as yourself have Islam, which is self-knowledge of yourself. And now once you got knowledge of yourself, you got knowledge of yourself, your family, your community. Now you have knowledge of not only yourself, of others, of the divine, of the devil, and the world of both of theirs. Divine or the devilish world. So when we speaking about them, that's the world of the devil.
Yeah.
The world in the devil and the world of the divine is different like earth and heaven.
Thank you.
It's different like up and down.
Thank you.
The sky and earth. So we have to understand. Only way that we are free is through Sufian Islam. This predates Declaration of Independence. This predates the King James Version. This predates the Catholic Bible, Vulgate. When we talking Dead Sea Scrolls, all these things, and even Gnosticism. When we talking about all these things, this is so important because this is the one book after Jesus left the plane of manifest that all humans were supposed to have, like they have the Quran or the Bible. We don't supposed to be separated as natives. Now we are unified under Sufian Islam, and you able to have your own tribes and family name and all of the things that come with your own family. But now your family is protected. Your community is protected. yourself is protected because you live according to principles and rules governed by a higher self life form, not by a lower self life form. And I put it in pause.
We'll see. 23. All valid law can be reasoned and argued logically. 24. Yet unjust and contradictory laws cannot. When I look at the Department of Justice and when I look at Department of the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, and when I look at the FBI, which stands for Federal Bureau Investigation, all three compartments have brought harm to our people. And that's a fact. No justice from neither one. "25. A faithful man to Allah, therefore, has the moral duty to protect just law and challenge unjust law." Did you hear me? A just man, a faithful man. He ain't gonna sin. He ain't gonna be tolerated with it.
It's the competent man.
26 and 27. 26 reads, "An honorable man before Allah had the solemn duty to defend against injustice." That go for the Department of Justice in America, that go for the FBI in America and the CIA, all working. And all are sources of Satan, because we ain't received justice yet. You don't have to march in those streets for justice. If the people in our places have the power to install it, make sure it's implemented, you ain't got to march. My last verse, 27. "And to stamp out tyrants wherever they may be." What if they're on Capitol Hill?
Nah, before that goes, that's the marching that's supposed to be taking place. That people don't understand. You supposed to be marching their ass out of here.
Yeah.
Ain't no marching standing there.
Yeah,
marching their ass out of here.
Yeah, that's right. That's the march is supposed to be going on.
This is why they don't want Sufian Islam running as the foundational law of America. Evil got to go.
Evil got to go.
Evil got to go. We talking about faith and honor, not paperwork.
That's right. That's right.
But when all of us don't have this collective view, then it's called the Nat Turner syndrome. See, this ain't got nothing to do with racism. See, this got to do with injustice.
That's right.
people not holding divine law and themselves accountable to divine law, and have spreaded their filth and their unjustice.
Yes, right. All over.
Yes, they unjustice all over the land, adding nothing to us. They ain't add nothing to us. This is our point. We ain't got nothing added to us by them.
No.
But they adding everything on our land and making sure we still can't go.
That's right.
We got no access. Public access.
That's right.
Build they beautiful communities and then kick us out. We can't come. So we talking about injustice on a land that represents the divine creator, the Holy Spirit, the holy ones of the holy, holy, holies. And Islam rise again, just as Rome know what defeated them before 1492.
And another thing I don't like is that they have the audacity to use two words which they call attorney. And he's supposed to be the overseer over all the states. Attorney General. Think about that.
And that's the thing. These men are tyrants. There's no other way. We already experienced the black experience. To call someone black, color, Negro, or African is a violation of divine law, and only tyrants violate divine law. So this is why we have the truth and the facts that are required that we should declare our separation. For the violation of these clauses presented upon this meeting is why we choose to separate.
Yes, indeed.
And I'm going to read the little paragraph out of the Declaration of Independence. We got 15 minutes left. Now, this is, again, written in 1776.
1776.
And this is the first paragraph. And this is what it says, as it is written. We hold these truths to be self-evident.
Did you hear that?
Did y'all hear this? Did they not read this out of our book?
Sure, they talk about evidence, it's self-evident.
This is what they've been copying from when they're trying to bridge and connect themselves with us.
I just read that.
Which is divine law. Yep. 13.
Yep, there it goes. You see that?
This is what I mean, the imposters.
Them copycats.
Copycats are imposters. They imposed our spirituality and reworded it for their own system.
Yep, they did.
See, this is written way before. This is written 1,000 before 1776.
Now they framing their constitution.
Yeah, our divine law. See, this is what they erased. It's been murdering our people ever before 1776, and definitely after.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We can't count.
All that was forgery. Now, the next one says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. This is what I'm reading now. This is the Declaration of Independence, July 4th. This is what is supposed to be celebrated, this understanding of equality.
Oh, equal.
But you see, it done moved from this state
to whites only.
To white supremacy. Because people don't know about divine law. And see, this was the first initiation. This is their first document on the American soil, giving them a place of identity and a place of shelter, which is the 13-mile radius in Washington, D.C. Not the 23 million miles of land of America. Only 13 miles belong to these 13 colonies. 13 miles, 13 colonies. The rest of it is all indigenous. It's already been laid out. But they use words to stamp us out. And marched us off the land and created a trail of tears, they call it. And and in scholarship, go back to Africa. That's how they shipped us on their scholarship. Their ship for us was a scholarship.
Oh man, look at the scholarship going on now with the sports. It's the same old recipe. And they tie that in with an education clause where they come to their university to learn something. And while they're there, they're going to play a little ball. Goodness gracious. If we don't stop this stupidity, this madness, this going to keep going on another 1,000 years, y'all.
If it ain't for the Sufian Islam, it will continue because you have no remedy.
Sure don't.
I'm growing up in the same experience that everybody before me experienced, and they don't have a remedy.
That's right.
This is your remedy and cure for all humanity, and especially black, Negroes, colors, under the auspice of African under Christianity. Christianity is for their salvation. Let them have their cake and eat it too under Christianity. But we're going to have our divine self and our divine flesh over here with the Sufian. The next sentence says, remember they copied, they say that all men are created equal. That sounds just like number 16 out of our Sufa. The Declaration of Independence say that all men are created equal. What Sufa 16 say?
All are equal. Under the law of the law.
See?
So that's the difference. That's the catch 22.
These are the catches. This is how they started changing words. They was already exposed to Islam. They already know this.
They knew that.
These are Islamic words. That are, but in the Declaration of Independence, notice they put men, all men. So women, children are left out.
They sure was, because back there then, the white woman didn't have no voice, nor did a Negro have a voice. It was just them.
Right.
Just the male men.
So the Sufian made it as all are equal, not gender-based.
Yeah.
All are equal under the law of all. This is why we say all law. This is the reason and the pronunciation of it in English. See, it's for all, not for some or a few or just men or just women. Now the next words after all men are created equal say that they are endowed by their creator. Creator is an Islam word.
Sure is.
They use God today. They move from this. They don't say creator because the creator is Islam. The word God goes into Christianity where they hijack the word God out of Islam and then imposed it on their religion and made Jesus Christ their God. See, and this is how it all got slippery.
Wee.
So they knew the whole time that the creator on American soil is all or illallah in our tongue. See, our language, in abbreviation, we call it Su. We call it Su, short for Sufian. Su is short for Sufian. Our language is called the language of Su. So now they use the language of Su to write their divine declaration of independence, saying they was getting away from British or Britain, which now we know it was all an imposter game of imposters. Because now the taxes go back to Britain. I thought y'all declared yourself free from Britain. So all this was hocus pocus game to later declare Christianity as a satanic religion, bringing harm amongst all people and especially black folks, every black person in America.
I'm glad you pointed that out. I heard you think they was better about they was gaining their independence from Britain, but yet when all the taxes and stuff were collected, the money was still going back there. And that's why they had Commonwealth states. I didn't know this, but I learned later that the Commonwealth states over here in America still represent them. And we still have Commonwealth states over here. I'll name you something if you want me to.
And that's how they represent God.
That's right.
For their
back up what you just said. That's why I want to just say that.
Yep. Earthly salvation.
When I heard that, I want to just say that.
See, it say endowed by their creator. See, you got to know your creator.
There you go.
Because they're going to have their system, and their system is going to represent their creator. So when they came with the image of Jesus Christ, that was their creator.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, right on. And I want to say this right here, right quick. That's why they push you to sing their national anthem and the pledge of allegiance to their flag, because they got their own flag and their own national anthem. You ain't got nothing to do that, but they want to make sure you sing it.
In 5 more minutes, it says that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. That means we permanently have our divinity. That can never be stripped. That's permanent.
That's right.
That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Pursuit?
That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. See, here come the part where the plot thickens for them. Remember, because they put all men equal.
Damn, so
now they saying
they slip government in there now.
Governments are instituted among men.
Look at that there.
See, so not tribes, see, because they was in the land of tribes.
Yeah.
So they foreign to tribes.
Yeah.
So they just using the word men to describe them.
Yeah.
So this is how they cut us out by the time the Constitution comes. This is where you got 3/5 of a man being in the Constitution. Yeah. And it's not in the Declaration of Independence, because this was copied from Islam. But it says this, that whenever any form of government made by these men, these crooks, become destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people.
Right on.
It is the right of the people. It is the right of the people to alter or to abolish that form of system. and to institute a new system.
Look at that.
And this is what I'm presenting as Sufian Islam.
Beautiful.
This is the new system from the divine creator
Beautiful.
to institute in America,
Beautiful.
of America,
Mhm.
upon America, duly for America,
Mhm.
and for all humanity to enjoy the rights and freedoms on American soil
Thank
of their divinity from their divine creator, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form. See, and that's what we have now with the Sufian. We got it organized in a form that everybody can get their hands on it, and we can become in line and get in unity and get into this one Islam called Sufian. And if nothing else needs to be said,
True law of the day.
yes, the divine law has been promulgated. The divine law is in effect hereafter by the name and in the name of our divine creator, Allah Sufa, Illallah, Fatiha. As-salam, as-salam, Wadu. We are Sufiana Americana, the Sufian American. Peace and love. Wadu.